noches, les saluda Duny Elvir, news anchor with Telemundo 52 Los Angeles, y es un placer to welcome you to Hispanic Outreach Task for Day of the Dead, Día de los Muertos. This is a virtual celebration. You are in for a feast in this local nonprofit celebrates Día de los Muertos, in part to fundraise for its year-round activities, culminating in the awarding of scholarships to local youth that are ready to go to college. Throughout the program, we will present some of the scholarship recipients, past and present. And of course, this wouldn't be a celebration without music, teatro, and the arts from a nationally renowned artist, perhaps your next-door neighbor. In a moment, we also will welcome Dr. David Gonzalez Jr., president of HOT, who share a little history of this organization. And I just want to thank you, all of you, for being here. And please, disfruten al máximo of this show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Day of the Dead 2020 with the Hispanic Outreach Task Force. This is our first ever virtual event. We're so glad that you can join us. We're excited because we get to continue our mission, which is to improve the quality of life of Hispanics and the entire community with our programs in education, health, economic development, financial literacy, and the cultural arts. So sit back, enjoy the music, and we're glad that you're with us.
Now, I want to talk to you quickly about what the Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos is all about, because there's a lot of confusion. First of all, it's not Mexican Halloween, and it's not about ancestor worship. What it is, it's a Mexican holiday to commemorate and celebrate our departed loved ones, those that we were associated with, our family, that sort of thing. Now, this particular holiday traces back all the way to the indigenous people of Mexico, the tribes of the Olmecs, the Zapotecs, Aztecs, the Mayans, and of course the Totonacs. But for now, this particular holiday does not have mourning involved whatsoever. Now, the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, is celebrated over 2 days. On November the 1st is set aside or dedicated to infants and children. And so many times the ofrendas on that day will include toys, baby clothing, and shawls to commemorate maternal love. November the 2nd is dedicated to adults. And so food that they love is prepared and eaten. Tequila is drank. There's sweet bread, which is to commemorate respect and honor. And I'm going to talk about food a little bit more in just a moment. Well, how is the Dia de los Muertos celebrated? Well, families will often go to the graveside and cemeteries and decorate the graves and eat the prepared food, sort of a picnic style. There is also often sometimes parades in other towns and cities. Now, what is used to celebrate this Dia de los Muertos? Well, the most significant thing in the center, you'll notice here, will be skulls, sugar skulls, or sugar calaveras. And it's significant to the Day of the Dead. They are decorated and placed on the altar, as you see here. Also, marigold flowers, as you see behind me, and the various colors will represent the different shades of the earth. Red, if it's used in this color scheme, is to commemorate maternal love. And there's also a pan dulce, a sweet bread known as pan de los muertos, which is similar to coffee cake, and sometimes will have strips of dough to represent bones or teardrops. But the most important thing is an ofrenda, an altar, which you see here. And it's set up to commemorate the departed. It's often set up in the departed's family's homes, and it's dedicated to please the departed. So there'll be a tablecloth, sugar skull, candles, other skulls, food, drinks, and since the holiday has been Christianized, there will be often a crucifix, prayers are offered, a rosary is said to help the departed on their journey. Now, as with many other customs, the Catholic Church, in their evangelistic efforts, tied pagan holidays to Christian holidays. So this particular date has been moved close to the Day of All Saints, or Dia de los Santos. A Mass is often said in this case for the departed souls and to help them quicker out of purgatory. But in summary, the Dia de los Muertos is a celebration. It's not about mourning. And it's to remind us that death should not be feared, because death as birth is part of the life cycle of every living thing.
My name is Mary. I'm really excited to be here. I found out that I was getting the HOT scholarship when I was a senior in high school, 2005. I was going to Cal High, and I was so excited. I had applied to several scholarships, and it was the only scholarship that I was granted. And it was a really exciting moment for me and my family to be able to celebrate in my accomplishments. And so we went to the award ceremony. It was in Commerce at the time. And it was a great experience to be able to meet everybody. And lo and behold, my grandfather, who has lived in Whittier his whole life, actually knew quite a large amount of people and had done some fundraising work with the GI Forum in honor of HOT. And so it was a really exciting experience to connect those dots. That was in 2005, and since then I attended Cal State Fullerton. I got my bachelor's degree in sociology, and I decided to get my master's degree in leadership development from Chapman University, and actually started my own nonprofit helping underprivileged youth in Orange County that were facing homelessness. And so I worked there for several years, and then over the last couple of years now have been back in Whittier working for my hometown at Helpline Youth Counseling for the unincorporated Whittier area. I'm so excited to be a HOT recipient, and I encourage everybody to support HOT in their endeavors. They're doing amazing work for the community, and the work that they're doing is in turn helping our youth become future leaders for our community. We're so excited of everything that they've been able to accomplish because of scholarships like these.
Our first musical performance comes from Suemi González, Belinda Salcido, Nelly Cortés, mejor conocidas como Ellas, coming together, first playing for Talón. Es decir, que han trabajado muy duro. We're glad to have Ellas with us this evening.
Ya lo ves, ya lo ves. Te olvidé, te olvidé. Ya lo ves, ya lo ves. Ya lo ves, amor, esta vez te olvidé. En el closet, en un rincón, están tus cosas, esto se acabó. Se acabó. Te juro que no te aguanto más. No te quiero ya, ni como amante. Esta vez no ganarás. Te puedes marchar y no vuelvas jamás. Y si acaso piensas que esta vez voy a perdonar, ya verás que nunca más me vuelves a engañar. Ya lárgate. ¿Qué sabes tú de mí? No me hagas reír. Tú creías que era simple, simple, pero sin tu amor no voy a morirme. Dime, ¿qué sabes tú de mí? No me hagas reír. Me verás con otro amor a mi lado. Ya lo ves, traidor, voy a sustituirte, a olvidar tu amor. Ya me curé de dolor, ya te saqué de mi corazón. Vete con ella, solos los dos. Pobre de ti, lárgate, me das asco. Tú eras mi luz, pero hay amores que matan de daño. Me cansé de ti, ya no soy aquella infeliz. Y si acaso piensas que esta vez voy a perdonar, ya verás que nunca más me vuelves a engañar. Ya lárgate. ¿Qué sabes tú de mí? No me hagas reír. Tú creías que eras imprescindible, pero sin tu amor no voy a morirme, baby. ¿Qué sabes tú de mí? No me hagas reír. Me verás con otro amor a mi lado. Ya lo ves, traidor, voy a sustituirte. Voy a olvidar tu amor. Ya no soy nada para ti, alguien que no conoces. Lo nuestro se acabó. Tanto daño al fin lo destruyó. Nunca lloraré por ti, porque ya me cansé de ti. No eres más imprescindible. Ya lo ves, ya lo ves. Ya no ves amor, esta vez te olvidé. Te olvidé, te olvidé. Ya lo ves, traidor, voy a sustituirte. Voy a olvidar tu amor. Que sabes tú de mí, no me hagas reír. Tú creías que era imprescindible, pero sin tu amor te voy a morirme. Que sabes tú de mí, no me hagas reír. Me verás con otro amor a mi lado. Ya lo ves, traidor, voy a sustituirte. Que sabes tú de mí, no me hagas reír. Tú creías que eras imprescindible, pero sin tu amor me voy a morirme. No hay más que hablar, terminamos. Este cuento al fin se ha acabado. Me verás con otro amor a mi lado. Ya lo ves, traidor, voy a sustituirte. Voy a olvidar tu amor.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Ford family, and I'm John Ford. I want to say thank you very much for everything Hot has done here in Uptown Whittier and the surrounding communities. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Almost 50. Woo! That is awesome. Hello, my name is Joshua George. I'm a 2020 scholarship recipient for Hot Scholarships. I graduated from Frontier High School. Currently going to Rio Hondo College, pursuing the field of cybersecurity and network engineering. When I first thought about cybersecurity, my main focus was essentially, wanting to secure people's systems and develop new technology out of it. I used to believe that cybersecurity was just, you're just, like securing this bike essentially so no one can hack into it and, send you flying. But it goes deeper than that into like actually, developing new things to help people and developing new technology to make everyone else's lives a lot easier, like basically bringing forth like a great technological advance, essentially. Growing up under, essentially a principal, because my mom's a principal, it's always been, you gotta like be greater, essentially. You shouldn't settle for less, if you can go for more, just essentially do it. I called Frontier, and they're just like, hey, we have the scholarship available for you, Joshua, and I was like, alright. So they sent me the paperwork, and so I signed up, essentially. I want to thank everyone from Hot Scholarship, all the people who support Hot as well, me going to college and pursuing my career in cybersecurity. It's for great change, essentially, and my mom and Mrs. Sunshine as well. We're all playing a part in making everything possible. So thank you guys very much.
Next, we present an expert of the Mexican set play Sor Juana, presented by the Rio Hondo College Theater Department with direction by Professor William Korf. El Profesor Korf is a longtime instructor de teatro and an avid collector of Los Angeles Music Center theater programs. Estamos muy orgullosos to present this excerpt from Sor Juana.
A poem by Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. With all the hazards of the sea in mind, no one would dare embark. If in advance the dangers were foretold, she would tread not in the dark. If the rider were to ponder the furious thrust of the beast below, she would never saddle the fury wild. No human hand could rein the flow. But if one chose brave audacity, despite the perils therein, and steered a blazing chariot to reach Apollo's breath, then she would live life, its all, not blandly endure her days till death. Hi, my name is Andrea Lopez. I play the role of Xochitl in Rio Hondo College's upcoming production of the play The Sins of Sor Juana, written by Karen Zacarias. Xochitl is a character that combines the essence of both Aztec culture and Spanish colonialism. The play looks at the life of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz and all the challenges that she faced. I'm sure many of you have heard of her. And if you haven't, she was a woman who lived near Mexico City in the 17th century. She became a nun so that she would be free to write and create. And write she did. Poems, letters, and even plays. She is known as a 10th Muse and the Phoenix of Mexico. She may have passed away over 300 years ago, but her life and works are still celebrated and relevant today. The entire play will be presented live, streaming via the internet on November 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We will now present to you a short excerpt from the play, in which Sor Juana is intrigued to find a man at court who can match her wits and poetry. Rose Loza plays Juana, and Andres Flores plays Silvio.
You penned this poem.
Your thoughts, senor?
Only one word can express what I think.
Yes?
Rewrite.
Pardon?
The poem is bland and uninspired.
Senor?
I can speak plainly on equal terms, or I can coddle you with vapid politeness. Which do you prefer?
The truth.
Love's delicacy consists of being loved. Although I am impressed by the quickness of your mind, your poetic passion is in stupor.
You surprised me. This is not my best work.
Why is it not? Excuses. That's what they all say. They hand you something and they say, this is not my best work.
Senor, I handed you nothing.
I cannot believe I came from Madrid for this.
You were sent from Madrid?
The words are elegant, but there's no life, no blood, no spirit. I cannot publish this.
Publish my work.
Our printing press cannot run this. It just goes to prove intelligence does not equal artistry. There's no art here.
Sir, your rudeness and short-sightedness is only dwarfed by your unfounded arrogance.
I beg your pardon.
The truth is, I do write poetry, and I write it well.
I know I should be gallant and accept your claim with grace.
I hope instead you challenge my words to a poetic grace.
You challenged me to challenge you. Very well, Juana Inés, I will oblige. Be so kind and clever as to create a poem now.
A poem. Any subject? Topic?
A love poem. A love poem dedicated to me.
Surely you are aware of the impropriety. I am a promised woman.
Deeply inspired by your beloved, I know, but this is not a test of your ability to love, but your ability to write. Are you clever and brave enough to write a poem about adoring me?
Silvio, that I could place my love on you is a truth I must decree. To love a man as vile as few confirms sin's weight and gravity. Dearly I wish when my eyes fall on you that I could deny a love so base and low. The reason's force so hard and true demands I admit the sin I know. For the crime of loving you there is no pardon, save to confess and have my heart harden.
Do you cross-stitch?
No.
Forget writing, learn to cross-stitch. It'll make your life much easier.
You found the poem so inadequate.
Señorita Juana, I do not know how much exposure a girl like you has had, and since I do not wish to agitate such a tender young lady such as yourself, I shall stay silent.
Your hard words will not break me.
All right, then. I would take pride to watch you recite to a court of worldly men. I would disperse your verse and venerate your pen. In our lively, lovely house, the library would be yours. Our summers would consist of faraway exotic tours. Perhaps I stand alone, but I find it quite a bore for others to force a talent to make her life a chore. Instead, my dear, I implore you to accept my pure romance. In the sun, write plays, in the moonlight, dance. All could be yours, all could be mine, if we had just met, different place, different time.
Your views, Don Silvio, are different, rich, sublime, but voicing them here could be a serious crime.
Risks must be made to improve each other's life. I'll be your loving editor if you be my passionate wife.
A moment ago you roared I was a woman with no art.
You are divinity, you are trinity, true mind, true soul, true heart.
I must go.
Señorita Juana,
Yes?
dedicate your first cross stitch to me.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to see what Sor Juana does next, you can watch the entire play streaming via the internet on November 19th to the 22nd. I actually have the poster right in back of me as my background. If you'd like a link, just send an email to theater@riohondo.edu. Once again, that's theater@riohondo.edu. Just send an email and we'll send you a link. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Hello, my name is Richard Zamora. I'm a Field Operations Supervisor for Diversified Protective Services. Although based out of Whittier, we offer security guard and executive protection services throughout all California. DPS is a proud partner of the Hispanic Outreach Task Force and what it stands for. Our objective, along with that of Hispanic Outreach Task Force, is to become more engaged with our community and to help build strong relationships and provide educational opportunities for our youth. Everyone at DPS would like to thank our Whittier community and HOT for their support and contributions to our local community.
Our next musical performing comes from Susie Garcia, Patricia Martinez, Jasmine Morales, Stacy Lopez, Olympia Trio, Zulieti Ortiz, Sherlyn Lopez, Soleín López, Alicia Rubio, Romina Huerta, mejor conocidas como Mariachi Las Colibrí. Las Colibrí, or the Hummingbirds, have a passion for music, beauty, and girl power. After years of achieving much success individually as instrumentalists y vocalistas también in various professional arenas, these ladies have come together to form a wonderful ensemble, and we are excited to hear them here tonight.
Chance for you to do right. If you just straighten up, then we'd have a good life. But if you lose me, baby, you're gonna lose a good thing. Lose a good thing. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna lose a good thing. You're gonna lose a good thing. This is my last time. I'm not asking anymore. 'Cause if you don't do it right, I'm gonna march right out of that door. And if you don't believe me, just try it, Daddy. You'll lose a good good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a good
You
thing.
lose a good thing. Oh, yes, you will. You lose a good thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm giving you one more chance. A good
Qué bonitos ojos tienes debajo de esas dos cejas, debajo de esas dos cejas. Qué bonitos ojos tienes, ellos me quieren mirar, pero si tú no los dejas, pero si tú no los dejas, ni siquiera parpadear.
Malagueña, salerosa, besar labios quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera, malagueña salerosa. Y decirte, niña hermosa, que eres linda y hechicera, que eres linda y hechicera, como el candor de una rosa. Yeah.
Si por pobre me desprecias, yo te concedo razón, yo te concedo razón. Si por pobre me desprecias, yo no te ofrezco riquezas, te ofrezco mi corazón, te ofrezco mi corazón a cambio de mis pobrezas.
estremecí. Niña hermosa, ¿quieres linda y hechicera? ¿Quieres linda y hechicera como el candor de una rosa? Como el candor de una rosa. Escúchenme bien, señores, llegaron las colibrí para cantar sus canciones y hacerlos sonreír, alegrando corazones, volando van por allí para compartir su canto y sus colores, sí que sí. Con sus faldas coloridas representando a la mujer, su belleza y su porte no es todo lo que posee, y aunque usted no lo crea, también le van a cantar unos sones sin tacones, va a ponerse a zapatear. Sones sin tacones, vamos a tocar al estilo antiguo, sus violines sonarán. Sones sin tacones, vamos a tocar para demostrarles somos hembras de verdad. Eso da, muchachas, y así se toca. ¡Hija! Sones en tacones, vamos a tocar al estilo antiguo, sus violines sonarán. Sones en tacones, vamos a tocar para demostrarles somos hembras de verdad. Sí, señor. Eso. Y que vivan las mujeres, sí, señor. La mujer. La mujer. La mujer. Está presente. Rebosó, rebosó de Santa María, mestizas que bailan llenas de alboroto, entre los encantos mil de mi vaquería. Albarradas blancas, roca de los pozos, casitas de paca de la tierra mía. Albarradas blancas, roca de los pozos, casitas de paca de la tierra mía. ¡Hora, colibrí! Ya
Esta noche y mañana tenemos que zapatear. Saca tu terno bonito y tu cinta colorada. Quiero que estés bien peinada cuando bailes el torito. ¡Eso! Colorado me llevo y soy señores de Michoacán. Se van. Traigo mi cuaco una silla que es de cuero, plata y marfil. Y dos pistolas al cinto para aquel que no entre el redil. Que viva mi tierra, Michoacán, y denme charanda pa' brindar. Que Juan Colorado aquí está ya, montado en su cuaco el huracán. Siempre dejo vivo un amor. Ya se va Juan Colorado, ya los vino aquí a saludar. Y él que me busque, me encuentre por el rumbo de Apatzingán. Que viva mi tierra, Michoacán, y denme charanda pa' brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya se va, montado su cuaco el huracán. Que viva mi tierra, Michoacán, y denme charanda pa' brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya se va, montado su cuaco el huracán. Estos son mis colibritos, sí señor. ¡Que viva México! Escóndete tras las trancas, chatita, que viene bravo. Y aviéntame tu rebozo, mi vida, pa' capotearlo. Toro, entra de largo, ya mi perta chula, torito, te está mirando. De raso bordado de seda te voy a comprar. Será más gracioso, más lindo tu paso y serás más ágil para zapatear. Ay, 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 ay.
Hello, my name is Luis Carey and I am the chair of the governance committee here at the YMCA in Whittier. The YMCA of Whittier is a proud partner of the Hispanic Outreach Task Force. The objective of the task force and the YMCA is to engage our community and create relationships and connections across cultures. Together we can create stronger and better community for all. The YMCA of Whittier would like to thank the HOT, our neighbors, and especially our youth. We know that with teamwork and support, we can thrive together. Feliz Día de los Muertos. Hola, me llamo Luis Carrión y soy el director de la mesa directiva del YMCA de la ciudad de Whittier. El YMCA de la ciudad de Whittier tiene el orgullo de estar asociado con la organización hispánica Outreach Task Force. El objetivo del YMCA y del HOT es apoyar a la comunidad para crear relaciones y conexiones con todas las culturas. Juntos podremos crear una comunidad con fortaleza y unidad Y el YMCA de Whittier agradece profundamente al HOT, nuestros vecinos y especialmente a nuestra juventud. Sabemos que juntos podremos salir adelante. Feliz Día de los Muertos.
I am Aurelia Jimenez. I am currently attending the University of La Verne, and I am a 2020 Hispanic Outreach Task Force recipient. I grew up in Whittier and attended Whittier High School. My sister went there before I did, and she had a really good reputation, so I couldn't, change that for her. Of course I didn't. It was a really good experience. Everyone, I could have, waved to a teacher and they could have been like, oh, you're, her sister. And I was like, oh yes, it's me. And I was able to have more positive connections with teachers in that way. In high school, I knew that there were art classes I could take, and I knew that I was going to be able to study it further in a more complex way that would actually develop my skills. And my counselor knew about the scholarship, and she also knew that I have submitted my artworks in many places, and she knew that I would be eligible for this scholarship. I would like to thank my family, my art teachers, and everyone who has been very supportive through my art career, since I didn't really think I could make it into a career, since everyone said to keep it as a hobby. And I want to also encourage others to keep on working on their dreams, because it's possible.
In a moment, we will be introduced to a local artist, Ofelia Esparza. At 88 years old, Ofelia is more than an artist. She's a national treasure. Es una institución completa. In the year of 2018, Ofelia received the nation's highest honor for folk artists, the National Heritage Fellowship from the National Endowment for the Arts. Her altar making began from a young age, and she learned a generations-old tradition from the woman in her family, who originated from the heart of Mexico, el estado de Guanajuato. Ofelia fue una maestra, and she continues to teach as the younger generations in her family carry on the tradition of altar making. They make paper flowers, miniatures, y todo lo que se les pide, whatever is required. Ofelia has also been an ambassador for Mexican culture. She was selected to travel to Scotland. ¿Se imaginan eso? Para presentar el arte mexicana. She introduced the art to Scottish people. She's a longtime teacher and artist with the Los Angeles Institution Self-Help Graphics in East Los Angeles. During normal times, Ofelia might be found at her studio and gallery on Cesar Chavez Avenue. Así que dale una vueltecita por ahí. Tonali Studio, where she is co-founder with her daughter, Rosana.
I've lived here all my life. I was a school teacher and lived next to Self-Help Graphics. So all my children have been involved in all the things that I've done, and grown up with the movement, with the artists. They're all artists now. I love East LA. I love my home. I think it's our family signature, because I involved my family. My children, when in the earlier days, my husband, he died in 1991, but the years before that, he was a truck driver who never had done things like that. So he became, very involved in making flowers, especially towards the end of his life. And then my children, of course, they were younger, and they became involved in helping me with the altars when it was around the corner on Cesar Chavez. And now we have many friends, or even the public through Self-Help Graphics, they have workshops. We used to run the flower making workshops for many years until we got the studio. Then we couldn't do that anymore. But people get together and make flowers for us, our friends. But that's It is a signature, I think, because we have a huge arco or arch, and it's always embellished with many flowers wherever we go. And my mother would say that the arch is colorful. It calls to the soul to come. It's the portal that Rosana said. It's the portal to the soul to come to their ofrenda, to visit us. And of course, the flowers are the fresh flowers traditionally have the same purpose, but also I learned that the color of the marigold, of course, it reflects the sun, and that the petals of the flower warm up the aura for preparing the souls to come. It's a beautiful, belief, and it's an ancient belief. So it's been going on for, thousands of years. My mother was born in 1904 in this small town in Guanajuato called Guanímaro. And in that area, it's right at the border of Michoacán. And I would say that Michoacán, especially Pátzcuaro and Janitzio and all those islands, are the cradle for the Day of the Dead celebration as we know it today. We had 6 deaths. One of them was COVID related, the youngest member. And the rest were, my brother, my sister-in-law, and 2 brothers-in-laws. They were not related, but they are affected. The ones who died in hospitals, we couldn't be with them at their last hour. Even the burials, my brother's burial has been held off till we can have a funeral. Anyway, it's affected us in so many ways. And it feels incomplete, and I think it just expands the sadness, the mourning in a way. You're not finished with it. And, my family's just, like I said, just a microcosm of so many people who have lost more than one members in their family of the COVID, and the loss of jobs, and just an upheaval. There's a lot to vent and to discuss and to become aware of. And here we're doing it through the ofrenda, which is a sacred thing.
Imagine a store that goes beyond the prescribed culture, that resists the pressure to conform and discards the status quo. What's life without good health? Well, that's a question that will no longer keep us up at night. You see, life is our most precious gift, filled with wonderful moments and memories that makes our path to better health a journey worth taking. Like the essence of that special someone we'll always carry with us. The beautiful occasions that stay with us forever. The ordinary, everyday moments that one day we will all come to miss. Every day, every moment counts, and what we do now will affect how long we'll get to enjoy them. So let's take care of ourselves. Let's take care of our health and inspire others to do the same. Because we only get one beautiful life, and it can only be enjoyed with más health and más wellness. Imagine no more. CVS y más. Más health, más beauty, más wellness.
Our final musical performance comes from the Grammy Award-winning Mariachi Divas de Cindy Shay, founded in 1999 by musical director and trompetista player Cindy Shay. Mariachi Divas is known for their amazing, eclectic array of music ranging from mariachi classics to jazz and pop. Son maravillosas, 2 veces ganadoras del Grammy. Mariachi Divas was recently featured in Disney Pixar's Coco, a live-to-film concert experience at the Hollywood Bowl.
Y ahora mis
corazón que aún te quiere. Ya está muriendo tarde con tarde, como se muere la luz del día. Ya no puedo más, tú me haces falta. Vuelve conmigo, alma de mi alma, vidita mía. ¿A dónde estás? Podrás tener el mundo entero y entre tus manos toda la dicha y otro cariño mejor que el mío. Pero ya verás siempre hace frío. ¿A dónde estás? ¿A dónde estás? Mátame cielo, trágame tierra, quiero morirme. Si no vuelve
Yo sé que tienes un nuevo amor, sin embargo te deseo lo mejor. Si en mí no encontraste felicidad, tal vez alguien más se la dará. Como la flor, con tanto amor me diste tú y se marchitó. Que perderme en un abismo de tristeza y lágrimas. No me queda más que aguantar bien mi derrota y brindarte felicidad. No me queda más, si tu regreso hoy sería una esto que no era amor, lo que niegas, lo que dices que nunca pasó, es el más dulce recuerdo de mi vida. Yo tenía una esperanza en el fondo de mi alma, que un día te quedaras tú conmigo, y aún guardaba una ilusión que alimentaba el corazón, mi corazón que hoy tiene que verte como solo amigo. Y aunque viví enamorada y totalmente equivocada, no me importa, porque esto sí fue el amor. Por mi parte, lo más lindo, el más grande amor. Y aunque siempre lo renuncies para mí, fue lo más bello, fue lo más bello. Cada vez que lo veo pasar, mi corazón se enloquece y me empieza a palpitar. Se emociona, ya no razona, no lo puedo controlar. Se emociona, ya no razona y me empieza a cantar. Me canta así, así, así. Biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri 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 bam bam, biri 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 biri. Cada vez que lo oigo hablar, me tiemblan hasta las piernas, y el corazón igual. Se emociona, ya no razona, no lo puedo controlar. Se emociona, no razona y me empieza a cantar. Me canta así, así, así. Biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam, biri 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 bam bam, biri 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 biri. Oh yeah, hey 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 yeah. Biri biri bam bam, biri biri bam bam. Oh, mi corazón se enloquece cada vez que lo veo pasar. Que me mueve, un ritmo que me hace bailar. Todos su pareja, todos vamos a gozar. Baila esta cumbia y mueve la cintura. Todos las manos en alto y griten con locura. Sentados, todos vamos a bailar. Siento algo que me mueve, un ritmo que me hace bailar. Tomen todos su pareja y todos vamos a gozar. Baila, baila esta cumbia y mueve la cintura. Todos las manos en alto y griten con locura.
Though I have to say goodbye, remember me. Don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar, know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar, know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me.
Día de los Muertos, historia, música y cultura. Thank you very much for joining us in this special event. Your participation and support of the Hispanic Outreach Task Force will go a long way in supporting los jóvenes locales. And perhaps one will join me here in Telemundo 52 someday. You never know. A lo mejor eres tú. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe. Buenas noches.
Well, this has been a fun evening. We are so glad that you were able to be with us. We are so excited to see not only what we can do with your contributions and your support, but we're excited to see what happens in 2021. So have a good evening, and on behalf of the board of the Hispanic Outreach Task Force, thank you very much. Good night. All right. All right.